Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill.
How are you?
Oh, I'm well, man. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I've not been able to meet because of some apocalypse.
Mhm.
And then, networked a little bit in the evening in one of the communities that I'm in and met someone who is a flow coach. This is all they do is just coach on flow states. And come to find out, they're also a Wing Chun student. And I was like, oh, hello there. And so we nerded out about Wing Chun and Kung Fu and flow, and she is now going to have me come talk to her people about Wing Chun and flow states, and I'm going to talk to her about flow states in this warm up thing that we're doing for Pavlok. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm putting it out here. I don't know how many people watch this, but if you do Zoom sales calls, if you're willing to do 10 calls, 5 with some software that we're developing that kind of tracks your face, the data doesn't go anywhere. We're not tracking anything. You can turn it off. You have complete control over it. If you're willing to do 10 Zoom calls with it and 10 without it, or 5 and 5, 10 and 10, and then let us know how you feel about it, you will get a free Pavlok 3. Free device. Wow. Yeah. So we are looking for people who are doing these kinds of Zoom video calls for networking, for selling, for biz dev, all of these things, because we have some software that we think will help you have a better time of it. And to sweeten the pot, he is willing to give people free Pavlok 3s. The new Pavlok 3 is really cool because it actually clips onto your watch band, so you don't have to have 2 devices. You don't have to wear it like as a separate device like I do. So looking for people who would like to be part of this initial kind of study and test, which I'm very excited about.
That is very cool. That's a good sweetener.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I can't shut up about it. So
you're like, can I do it too?
Well, yeah, I already am.
I know.
I'm patient zero, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. So I am interested. So the Wing Chun person you found who is teaching flow states, how she, right?
Yes.
How does she market herself as a flow coach? Because that seems like a nebulous type concept that a lot of people might go, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm not paying you for it.
Yeah. Well, so she's been a coach for a while. It was mindset before, and now specifically just works around flow. And she writes a lot of content for Kotler and those guys who talk about flow states and in peak performance coaching all the time. So I think she gets a lot of kind of overlap and referrals from there.
Okay.
And also she just networks and connects and meets people, and yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated by people that sell something that's kind of hard to physically grasp,
I mean, honestly, hold on. I had this epiphany the other day, and you and I have not talked about this yet. Okay. We make this so ridiculously difficult. We make it harder than it has to be, right? Because if you put someone like her, someone like you, someone like me in front of a camera or in front of a group of people, and we talk about the thing that we do, it has opportunity to be a really great piece of sales collateral for you, right? Or marketing, right? Which is just a webinar whenever you do it the right way. Like, I don't know why people will get up and give like a public talk and it's great. And then they're like, let's do a webinar, and it's the pitchiest thing on the planet.
Right.
But if you can do this, right, record yourself doing it, right, give a presentation to someone, and then that method works, right? Like the whole lunch and learn to let's have a conversation to let's see if we're going to talk about it. And honestly, the more I feel like educational your stuff has got to be like a flow coach, the more you have to do that, because you have to explain the science behind it.
That's where I was going. So I was thinking, I don't mean that flow coaching isn't tangible. I mean, it's hard for people to connect what something like that can tangibly do in their business or in their whatever. Yeah. That's hooks I'm always fascinated with, because it's hard, especially like you just said, for people that actually live in it to necessarily get to the spot where they go, oh, these are the 2 things that people are constantly in their own brain going, oh, I can fix this with this thing you're selling me. They don't go, I need a flow coach, right? They go,
correct. Oh,
man,
for sure.
there's these couple of things that I can fix, and Flow's going to fix that. Now I'm interested. Now I'm going to go from your lunch and learn to the next step, right? A meeting or to a,
yeah, but I think you talk about the same things, that everybody else talks about, right? Are you right? I think a mindset coach, a flow coach, and a productivity coach are all remarkably the same, right?
Sure.
Because like whenever I'm helping people on like productivity stuff, like we're talking about all the same kind of stuff that are triggers for flow states anyway, right? Very clear intention, being pushed a little bit out of your comfort zone, very clear feedback, and no ability to lie to yourself, right? Do those kinds of things, you're going to get into flow states. Great, let's go do these. But it's the same thing, right? Do you find yourself like putting off the same things over and over and over? Oh yeah, man, absolutely. Oh, okay. What kind of things?
Yeah.
Well, and then you just kind of go into it from there. Oh, but why are those things always on the bottom of the list?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, well, maybe it's because, and then you approach it from whatever. Does this make sense?
Oh yeah, no,
okay.
Yeah, I totally get it. I think it's the step before that hooks people, or that gets people stumbling, because once you can get in a conversation with someone, like right then you're in a conversation and one-on-one with someone where you can actually conversation.
Yes.
Like just to go on your LinkedIn profile, I'm a flow coach, or I'm a peak performance coach, or I'm whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard spot to start from, because there's not a lot of people that go, I need to go speak to a peak performance coach.
Well, right? That's why you, in my view, you either have to have the audience there because you've done the book thing, you've done some sort of thing that comes with an audience, or you niche down enough that your approach is so viewable in the work that you do, right? Because I'm a sales coach, but I think of myself more of like and this is weird, but a peak performance mindset coach for sales. Like that's much more my space than it is. Like I like all of this other stuff, but the stuff that I really geek out on is this, right? Whatever. So if I just say, hey, like I'm a peak performance coach, like I don't have enough information, enough studies, and enough outcomes to like go broadly market to all that stuff, right? I'm going to get a lot of people like, why should I work with you? And I'll be like, well, I'm not really sure that you should. And then it's going to be harder. Yeah. But in the sales component, because it's what I do, I don't know. It's just harder to deny it because of how specific it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talk about all the time, niching.
Yeah.
Essentially what you're doing is telling people, I solve this specific problem. And then once they're interested, you say, and this is the way I solve it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so like, that's the marketing side of it. But the thing that I created for you, right, is the exact thing that you're talking about this person needs, right? You need those questions that you can ask that are so lightweight that they don't hit the radar as like discovery questions, right? Especially if they have their walls up, if you don't have any trust yet and stuff like this. Yeah. And so that way you can start to have the conversation. So it's funny because like I wrote out a bunch of questions for you to use, right? And then I was like, oh, this is not what he was looking for, like at all, right? And this was months ago. And now we're sitting here talking about the very same thing. Like what kind of question do you ask very lightweight to start the conversation, so that way you can try to qualify it to see if it's someone who could use your services or not.
Right. And what's funny is that's actually a conversation you and I are in about our own businesses, that is also one-to-one, hand-to-hand combat in the DMs, whereas I'm more thinking about what do I need to put out to get people having conversations in my comment or my content or in different groups that I'm in, so that then I can go to a one-on-one conversation and use those questions that you both.
Yeah.
Because starting conversations and not sounding like that guy is the challenge that I think almost everybody deals with online on social media, or that girl.
Yeah. It was so funny. I got this DM from this guy yesterday, and the first message was like, it stood out. He goes, hey man, super glad to be connected. I really appreciate the thought that you put into your content. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like this seems different enough that it doesn't seem like a business conversation. And then in the next one, it was too long. It had a percentage. Like he didn't even type out percentage. He just had the symbol, and it went something like, oh, blah 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 blah. And then I was like, man, you were close. You're so close, right? Like, but it still feels like it now feels like the first exchange was cheap and fake, just because of this here. And the interesting thing about this is, like, I can see both of these messages in the thread. It's not like a conversation to where, like, this just dissolves into like the air of nothingness. I'm just going to scroll up, right? Which is why, like, your reach out and your follow up and stuff has got to be very, very deliberate and intentional. Hey, can we chat this week? No, I can't chat this week. I might be able to chat next week. Don't follow up with the same person on Thursday of that same week and say, hey, how's today looking? Like, they gave you a thing that you asked for. You asked for it, they gave it. You have to trust them that that's true, and, you know, run your program from there. But all the timestamps, like, don't help these, like, salespeople who don't take good notes and are not mindful of, like, the next steps and all of these things, because they're like, oh yeah, forget about you. How about now? Right? And in a conversation, that's totally okay, because there's not like a documented, like, time feed of all the prior conversations and everything they said to you. But when it's on a screen, it's literally right there, right? If anything, send some fluff and send some little chat things, so that way that's, like, out of the immediate viewable area.
Well, I mean,
sorry, I'm ramped up this morning.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm in that same headspace too, because I've had some pretty bad exchanges the last week over LinkedIn, and we talk about, like, mining for conversations, right? Not sprinting to the pitch. And so I think that what you're talking about right there, like, if he had taken that first exchange and then just asked some legitimate questions about your business, being curious. Oh, this is sales. What does that mean? Tell me more about that.
Well, okay.
But you're mining to see if there's a conversation available, right?
Yeah.
Not to see, okay, is it time to pitch yet? Is it time to pitch yet? No. Is this a conversation that makes sense to roll into a pitch, you know?
So we talk about this all the time, of, like, this idea that we have to be like Don Draper, this perfect person, polished, silver-tongued, ethically smooth, everything else, right? And I have this theory that the earlier you pitch in your process, the more that has to be true.
Yeah.
Right. Because think about it. If I show up, you don't know me, I don't know anything about your company, and I say, hey guys, let me tell you why we should work together. I better be really good. Oh my God, I better be killing it, like, 99.5 times out of 100.
And,
right?
like, really, really ridiculously good looking.
Yes, blue steel the whole time, just constant. Yep. Just constantly. I'm never gonna be that guy. Like, I'm just not. So instead, I'm gonna go the other way, right? And so by letting people talk and communicate and build a relationship and show them that I really, really am interested and I have lots of questions and stuff, by the time that we get through this whole process, you know that I've listened and I've been paying attention and everything, and I'm building trust. So I don't have to be perfect, right? Because there's now some trust, there's some rapport, and there's some credit there on both sides, right? You can make a mistake, I can make a mistake. This is totally fine. These are the relationships that I want with my clients. So when you come in as that Don Draper, like, let's pitch quick because I'm so smooth and everything, be transparent about that. Don't come in here telling me how much you like my posts and how thoughtful my content is, whenever you're really just, like, going to send me one message and then pitch me. Just pitch me. You're going to have terrible results, but, like, make that your process and just own the crap out of it.
Hey, but he got the connection, so now he can spam you. That's good.
Sure. Totally fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Until I sever the connection, and then he can't DM me anymore. Right. And here's the deal. If you want to burn through them at that rate, go burn through them at that rate. But you're going to spend the same amount of time as if you took a little bit of time to really understand what's going on, building a little bit of a relationship, having a bit of a conversation, and then transferring it over to business, assuming that they want to talk to you about that.
And then it'll close more.
Yes. A lot more. A lot more. So,
yep.
Yes.
Well, John's out there fighting the good battle for us all, telling all those people how bad a job they're doing when they give him horrible pitches in DMs. So thank you for taking that mantle on, because I never want to.
I put good job, so close, but now my walls are up. What do you want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And then I sent it, and I was like, well, that wasn't helpful. Like as soon as I sent it, I was like, what am I expecting
Yeah, that wasn't
to
good.
happen after this?
Yeah.
Good morning, Levi. Okay, can I tell a quick story?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so a person who I coach sells insurance. I'm trying to keep this anonymous because I did not ask him if I could tell the story and make it public. So sells insurance. So he has to go to the people's homes. They do an in-person assessment and application. So he knocks on this person's house, comes in. The person is very thin, very shaky. And it turns out that there is like a meth lab inside this place where he's at. Someone else comes over, knocks on the door. A guy comes out of the back, gives her a baggie, turns and sees my client sitting at the table talking to this other person who lives there, and kind of like lifts his shirt and shows a weapon like in his waistband and says, "You're not going to tell anybody about this, are you?" And my client goes, "No," and gets up and gets out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Like, how nuts is that?
Oh, okay.
Like no, like that's the whole story.
Has a medal now, and like,
No.
I was like, wow, yeah, that's good build up. Awesome. What happened next?
No, I mean,
that's what happened.
We talked about it last week, and he was like, "Man, I don't know if I want to do this anymore." And I was like, I completely understand why you would feel that way. Like,
maybe we're neighborhoods. That could change your life.
But yeah, so it's crazy. So if you're struggling with being able to take a no, maybe zoom out a little bit, right? Like, there are other people who have to deal with stuff that's like way more intense
that's
than just getting a no or getting a hard edge question, and anything else would be easier just by comparison. So nobody meaningfully flashes a gun on Zoom. Well, Levi, I'm sure that lots of people do. They're just not people that are taking sales calls. So hopefully.
Well, and it's not meaningful at that specific second, but
that's true.
Later, it specifically could be. Even more, Levi.
Yeah. That was the craziest story I think I've ever heard.
That's
sales specific. So
okay. Yeah, I don't know. Lubbock's up there, I gotta say. I'm still so impressed by that. That's from just like a pure like shock of a situation.
Oh yeah.
I think that's equal. Now the stakes are a little higher than the one you just told. So
yes,
that's awesome.
Yeah, a little higher.
Yeah,
a little higher.
Yeah, cool. So what do you got going on today?
Well, so I got this thing yesterday, right? So I jacked my wrist up trying to do handstand work, and it's still just kind of like lingering or whatever. So Al told me to get one of these things, right? So this is like a gyroscope, right? And you wind it up and let it go, and then it kind of like counterweights the ball. And man, I did this for about a minute and a half with like each wrist, right? And you just kind of rotate, because what happens is when you do it the right way, you can capture the momentum of the ball, right? And like it can just go on for forever. Huh?
You get in flow?
Kinda, yeah, right, I guess, right?
All of a sudden you're
yeah, exactly. It's like a hula hoop kind of deal.
Yeah.
And so then you can stop and spin it the other way as well to like, deal with like the gravity swings. Man, pretty killer thing. Like, I hope it rehabs my wrists as much as my wrists felt tired after using it yesterday, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
my dad bought one of those for us when I was young. I'm trying to remember how old I was, and I thought it was a toy, like, because you would just spin it, and then all of a sudden you stop and try and spin the other way, and like if there's no weight, it's momentum, and I don't know all the science behind it. It feels like you've just turned over and it's like pushing back against you, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to go the other way. And I played with that thing for hours. I love that, but it was tiring.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm hopeful to have bulletproof wrists after this is done, because I want to really start taking better care of my knees and my wrists. Right.
This is turning into an old people show.
A little bit, right?
Because I got a chirp.
You got a what?
A chirp. It's just a big ball.
Oh, I have seen the ads for that. Do you like it?
And you roll on it, and it stretches back out. And I have back and hip issues, so it's just another tool I can use to stretch out easier. And I like it so far. It feels good.
Interesting. Do you just like? Does your spine crack all the way down as you like roll over it the first time?
Mine doesn't. Not all the time.
Huh. Okay.
Sometimes it does, and mine's more specific to certain areas. I would assume certain people's does.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's more like a stretch situation where you can, right? Because the gymnastic movie where you go up into a bridge, right? You see the movies and stuff like that, and like the kip ups and things like that. You can't just get to that position without a lot of practice. So this actually allows you to stretch out your spine in a way that kind of gets you closer to those positions. Not that that's what your goal is, but you know what I mean? Like you can't just go here to here. So
today's daily Stoic entry was about how most people overestimate their abilities. And like as you're talking about that bridge position,
right?
I had a moment of being like, I could do that as a kid. I think I could still do it right now.
Yeah.
I think I could do it.
You think so?
Just because of jiu-jitsu and kung fu. I think that I could probably do it.
I actually tried recently because my daughter's into cheer and gymnastics and stuff, and I still like try and like exercise with her and I can still do it. It's not as easy as it was before. Right? But
yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna try that today, and we'll get a photo taken if I can get it up.
Yeah, let's see
if I can get it up. Wow, that sounds terrible. If I can make that position happen.
Yes.
I'll take a picture of it.
Like Levi said, it might happen, but only once.
Yeah. I bet I could one time with great risk of injury. Levi, come on, dude. You're a jiu-jitsu guy as well. You could do it as well.
That's a different stretch, though. That's a different one.
Anytime it's a different stretch for sure.
Fine like that.
But there's one part of jiu-jitsu where like the movement is the same, right? If you're trying to get like escape from a mount, right? You've got to keep those wrists a while longer. Oh, that is a good point. It might be a really dumb idea for me to try to do it right now because of my wrist.
Yeah.
That's why you wear tape, Levi. Taping my wrist to do one stretch.
Maybe do downward dog today.
This one's too easy. Let's do it backwards.
Yeah. I was inverted.
Yeah. That's right, Iceman. I am dangerous. What do you got today, Bill?
I am leading a training exercise at 8:15, so I'm going to hop off here and jump right into another Zoom call. And then I've got a couple follow-ups on some client work that we did. We got some feedback, so I'm going to work some of that back over. And then I've got writing on the book, and then I've got a couple other time blocks this afternoon for networking. So pretty busy. You?
I am coaching a new team today. There's an agency called BIL, and I am coming on as their sales coach. So I'll be coaching all their clients to just kind of help close rates and everybody rises kind of deal. This afternoon, I have a catch-up call with a guy named Alex who has an agency that's doing some pretty cool stuff. We just haven't chatted in a while. And then I have sales practice lab at 2, and then I have a one-on-one at 3. So my week this week is lighter than most weeks in general, and I'm trying to make myself feel okay about it. So
cool. And blocking and tackling yesterday, you had a nice block in the morning. How did that go?
Decent. Not as productive as I would like it to be. We're in this weird spot with Go High Level to where like I feel like I know it, but then I really don't, right? And so that's like really kind of slowing things down. And then I'm kind of creating this Go High Level mastermind inside my Slack, right? So me, the people who I work with on my Go High Level, and a couple of other people who are also trying to build it out and really get really good at it. We're all in a Slack channel that I have. because we're just sharing workflows and triggers and things that we want to build and stuff like that, because we were trying to make it really good. So we're moving all of our stuff over to Go High Level, my course and everything else, and it's been kind of a nightmare, honestly. But we're learning a lot about the process if we ever want to move it again, which hopefully won't be a thing. Yep. So yeah, it was just a bunch of stuff about that, but not quite as productive as I would like.
Gotcha.
So more today in the morning.
Okay, cool. Well, I got to run. So
go get it. Thank you to
Michelle.
Levi.
Good to see y'all. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
Or on Wednesday. So
short show, school show.
School show. That's right. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
See ya.